Well, it's noon, and hopefully I'm not keeping you from food. But I am really glad to see you all to join conversation today. So the talk is Ignite to Innovate, Launching Ideas into Products. And there we go. And a little bit about me, just so you know who's up here talking to you. I'm Angela Thomas, and my day job is Director of Corporate Innovation, and it was for Power Engineers. Been there for 15 years. But this past year, starting in January, we're now under WSP. So a little bit different there if you heard about the acquisition. As far as this topic, it's really interesting that Power Engineers is a service consulting company, and my team in innovation for the past 3 years have been building products within a service company, which is a little, we fought a lot, basically, to put it nicely, because we were changing the mold of the service thinking to more of a product thinking. So that's the perspective I'm sharing today. I also have my own side business, so trying to build something on the side. Happy place, I think everybody deserves a happy place. Do you all have your happy place? Okay, good. Some of you maybe will work on that. For me, it's nature. Just being outside. I love doing these mindfulness running retreats. This was one in the Dolomites, which the mountains are just awesome there, and I'd highly recommend going there. And then currently reading, love reading, Rewilding. So I don't know if you've heard of that book, but one of my instructors at Ayurveda school had written that book, and it was really about getting back in touch with nature. So you think about what's going on in the world today and what's happening in people's health with anxiety, stress, and fear. A lot of it's because we've lost our touch with nature, and that's what that book's about. So it's really fascinating, and it also gives different practices that you can do to get back in touch with nature and yourself. So before we get started, I am a yoga teacher, if you read my bio, and I wanted to have a innovation moment. So this was a term coined by my manager. And if you think about the yin symbol, or the yin and the yang here, yang is more of what we're pushed to do in our society of like, go, go, go. That's the white side there. And then the dark side is yin, which is more of that stop, rest, relax, take your time, get grounded. And if you think about where have you come up with your best ideas? Is it when you're stressed out and you have somebody like cracking a whip on you? Or some people say it's when they're on a walk or when they're in the shower. Just really relaxed, calm moment. So if you'd like to have this innovation moment, just have your feet flat on the ground, sitting up kind of tall in your chair. Don't worry, we're going to get to the talk, but we're just going to relax first because I'm getting some looks. And if you like, you can place your hands on top of your legs, and you can either have an unfocused gaze or gently close your eyes. And just notice your breath. The breath really connects your mind and your body and can help ground you. And we're going to do an uneven breath that you can use with you at all times. So that just means we're going to inhale for a count of 3 and then exhale for a count of 6. So we'll start first by exhaling all your breath out. Then we'll inhale 1, 2, 3. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale 1, 2, 3. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale 1, 2, 3. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 more. Inhale 1, 2, 3. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale 1, 2, 3. And exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then just breathe. And this is a really great thing to practice. Extending your exhale longer than your inhale will take you more to your parasympathetic system, your rest and digest. And thanks for bearing with me. Hopefully you feel a little calmer. Now we're going to get into it. Our session roadmap, because we don't want to have roadblocks. We do have building blocks. So before we get into some of the practice exercises, and let me know if you do need some paper once we get to that, we need to have some building blocks. And then we'll move into some practice. These are some things that you can do where you want to maybe take your idea out into the world, product, service. And I'm going to share some costly missteps. These are some lessons learned that hopefully if I share with you, you won't have to deal with them. Or you can deal with them if you want. And then we'll wrap it up. So goal is to wrap up on time, but it may go maybe a couple minutes over. Your takeaways, there's going to be a lot of content that I'll be sharing, but these takeaways are more emotional because it's hard to get your idea out in the world and to grow a new business. And some of it's just about believing in yourself. And also being comfortable, being uncomfortable. You're going to have a lot of uncomfortable situations, and you're just going to have to get used to it. Trust yourself. All you need is already in you. Sometimes people feel like they need to go get certification after certification, and it's like sometimes you just need to do the thing. And then do brave things, not perfect things. Just, you don't need to be perfect. Perfection's overrated. So before I get going, I was curious, who here's already put out a product or a service? Or who wants to? Couple? Yeah? Okay, cool. Who's just hanging out for the sun because it's nice and well, actually the sun's kind of down. So our first building block are these 3 questions to think about when you're putting your idea out there or your product or your service. And the first one is desirability. Really thinking about, do your customers want it? And as we go through these different practices, it's going to contribute to giving that answer, is this desirable or not? Feasibility, can you do it? Or is there a partner that you can work with that can help you accomplish what you're hoping to accomplish? And ideally, you have a good relationship with that partner and contracts in place to protect your IP. And viability, should we do it and will it make money? You gotta make money if you wanna keep moving forward. Now you could do your things for free if you'd like. You may drain yourself though and your funds. But I know working within a company and delivering products, that seems to be what they care about is money versus, oh, we're making the world a better place. Yeah, it's great, but what's the bottom line? So thinking about viability, but also just the viability of the product. Once it's developed, how is it going to be maintained? Who's going to be selling it? So these would be some things to think about. Is everybody here familiar with design thinking? Yeah, there's probably quite a few. So design thinking is just a great way to move through, starting with who are you developing the product for, so empathy, then defining, okay, what kind of problems are they facing, and that's what we're going to be doing these things in the activities. Then generating many ideas. If you don't already have an idea to address their problems, or you're just validating that you're correcting or helping them out, and then converging into a prototype that you could then test the market. And this is an iterative process. So design thinking is really cool just because it just gives you a nice framework, but it's not like you must do. And then agile mindset, there's agile development and then there's the agile mindset. And so I just want to call out some characteristics with the agile mindset of just continually making progress, moving things forward instead of being perfect. And sometimes you need to be vulnerable instead of like waiting until you have the answer. Speed over consensus. Sometimes you'll be in a team and they're like, oh, we need everybody to agree before we move forward. And it's like, no, you don't. if you want to get to something. Adapting to change over following a plan. It doesn't mean that you don't have a plan. It just means that sometimes you need to make some changes because of the situation has changed in the environment that you're working within, which does happen frequently. Participation over power. This is really thinking about, you don't need to have the people with the titles in the room. You just need the right people. And action over analysis. Has anybody been on a project where it's been analysis paralysis? And aren't they awesome? They're the best projects to work on, where somebody's like, no, we need to analyze this now. And you're like, do we? No, we don't. And then autonomy over control. I say this is sometimes a tough one for people, just letting go and letting the experts do what they're good at and then come back as a team. Some project managers, and I can say this because I am one, have a hard time letting go. And but in order to be successful and move forward, you need to do that. And this is what an agile mindset looks like, and it's a skateboard. So if you're really wanting to test an idea or a service, you want to start by building something small that you can use, that you can test out. And then ideally, you can build upon it and grow it into something bigger, or you can decide, no, this isn't the right time, this isn't the right market, and without spending a lot of time and money into it. So that's why I always say, let's focus on the skateboard. And then products. So this was something that was pretty interesting, being part of a service company and then starting to develop products, is there's so many ways that you can define a product. And the first one, thinking of like the use of technology or the benefits that you can receive, and it's just more lower to benefits to higher benefits, is customized services. Your service that you provide is a product. So for some people that's mind-blowing, but it's just a different mindset to be in. Then there's productized service. So let's say you develop something and that's used, this happens a lot in the consulting world, they develop a tool to use for the team to be more efficient, and then you get higher margins. So that could be more of a technology-enabled service, or what they use, productized service. And then there's straight up products that you're selling. I see you're from HP, right? So those are products that are sold. And then product as a service. So it's just kind of neat to see these different definitions. A product is not a product. There's so many ways to look at it. So did I share anything new for you, or maybe just reinforce? Okay, I'm just curious. All right, you ready to do some practice? Okay. We're gonna start with empathy. So this is really some tests for desirability. And really starting out with defining your customer segments. Who is benefiting from your service or product? And it's not, you don't want to say everyone, really it's narrowing down to a specific segment. And ideally, we're going to start with one segment. And that's where you have the paper and everything. So think of one customer segment that you would focus on. And then if you want to write that down. Did you want some paper and pen, or? Oh, okay. Good to know. Okay. You have digital paper and pen. All right.